Hello and welcome to my retired life. This is early morning. You can see the sun is kind of rising behind me, but I wanted to get this in, and this is about weird and wacky rules for retirement around the world. Now you got to remember there's different cultures, there's different economic, demographics all around the world. And we're going to give you 10 that I think are pretty wacky that I researched on. First one, Libya. The mandatory retirement age is 70. You can't retire before and you can't retire after. Now you got to remember that in Libya, the average expectancy life is 73. So they're giving you 3 years of retirement. Kind of scary. Number 2 is China. Now in 1950s, they set the mandatory retirement age at 50 for blue-collar women and 60 for blue-collar men. Now, given 50 and 60, you think that's pretty young, but back in the 1950s, life expectancy was 40. So if you made retirement, everything else was a bonus. Now, 40 years later, not more than 40 years, what is it? 50s, 60, 70, 80, 90. Now, 60 years later, life expectancy is 77. So it's stressing their local economy, having those rules in there. They should probably change them. Number 3, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. The retirement age with full pension is 47. And this is the only country that isn't increasing their age to retire. They are so wealthy with oil that they allow their people to retire at 47. How many of you would like to retire at 47? I know I would have. I'm 48, 55 when I retired, but if I could go at 47, I would. Those years after you retire, go fast. Next is Ethiopia. Mandatory retirement age is 60 for lower hazardous, yeah, you can see my breath. It's early in the morning and it's fall here in Canada, so it's a little chilly. Back to Ethiopia. I'm going to check my notes. I got my phone down here and I'm looking at it. Citizens must retire at 60 for early ages for hazardous jobs. It's strictly enforced by the government, so if you have a hazardous job, and I don't know what they classify as hazardous, but if it's anything to do with anything hazardous, I guess. I can't think of one off the top of my head. You have to retire. And the problem is you might not have enough money in Ethiopia to retire at 60, but you have to retire. South Korea. Mandatory retirement age for the private sector is 60, and for the government workers, it's 65. Now, with all these are mandatory. With all the global healthcare advancements and living longer, people are running out of money in their retirement because they're forced to retire too early. A lot of them. Many of them have done the right thing and saved, but most of them are being forced to retire too early. And a lot of them go to underground economies. France, number 6. The French, oh, yes, oui, monsieur. That means yes, mister. I know a little bit of French. Being Canadian, both our official languages are English and French, so I get by. In France, okay, let's get back to France. I've read my notes. Employers cannot force retirement before 70. They can't force you to do that. But the minimum retirement age is 64, with full pension at 67. Now, I'm assuming that's a government pension that they pay into. Right here in Canada, ours is 65, although you can go early with a penalty, but full pension is 65. And they're talking about raising it to 67 just because life expectancy is longer. And if they don't, it puts more of a strain on the finances of the government. That's why they raise it. Even though you pay into it, they can change the rules. Number 7, Canada. Yay, oh Canada. That's where I'm from. Although I consider myself a Camerican because I'm six and a half months in Canada and 5.5 months in Arizona. So a Camerican. Does that make any sense? I'm a Canadian, but I think highly of the United States. So that's why I bought a house there, to retire. It's been great. Okay, where am I? Canada. There is no mandatory retirement except one place. In Canada, judges and senators have to retire at 75. Mandatory. Which isn't a bad thing. Number 8, the United States. The mandatory retirement age for airline pilots is 65. You can't fly after you're 65. Safety reasons, obviously. Heart attacks, seizures, Parkinson's. Can you imagine a pilot flying a plane? Even though it's automated, I know it's automated. Don't get silly on me. But can you imagine a the passengers would be going like that. Okay, I think of things differently. Number 9, Russia. Yes. There is no mandatory retirement for judges. Judges are appointed as well. Shocking? Well, it depends who's in power. Like right now, Putin's in power, and he can put favorable judges in his courts. So it's kind of a political thing, as well as that's the only job in Russia where you don't have to retire if you don't want to. After 20 years to 25 years, you get full pension if you want to retire. If they allow you to retire. It is a communist country, right? And finally, number 10, Pakistan. In Pakistan, the retirement age is 60, but they're planning on extending that. And the reason they're extending this, now get this, this is really quite amazing. The reason they're extending this is because the 60 is the new 40 now. So so they're changing it by 20. They want to change it by 20 years. So the mandatory thing would probably be 80, and more than likely they probably wouldn't get away with it. They'll probably make it around 70. There's a lot of different quirky things around the world, right, for laws and retirement and stuff. These are the wackiest that I could find. I thought I would look for weird laws for retirement, and I gave you 10 of them. It's I still get over Pakistan. 60 is the new 40, so we're going to extend it. It has nothing to do with the financial costs at paying people out at lower ages, is it, Pakistan? And with that, you can check out this video or that video, and let's call this one